Exclusive contracted novel by Feilu Novel Network. The strongest heavenly emperor in the wilderness. The protagonist brings the strongest heavenly emperor system to the wilderness and is reborn as an innate human race. Starting from the flood and wilderness, conquer the heavens and all realms. Dominate the world, revere all worlds. 9 days and 10 places, I am honored. I rule over all the heavens and all the realms. P.S. New book upload. Please support us all. Flowers. Collect. The author has a nearly 5 million word work called The Predation of Qi in Martial Arts, with no unique record. Character guarantee. Welcome to the pit. Collect and fatten. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Coming to the Wilderness. Congenital Human Race. Seeking Collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Our Lady of Mercy. The benefactor of the Virgin Mary's creation will never be forgotten. The sage's longevity is boundless. When young Haochen woke up in a daze, there were loud sounds in his ears that shook his eardrums a bit. Holy Mother. Creation. Human race. Sage. What's the situation? Did you go to the filming site of a certain crew? No, I haven't heard of any crew filming a flood of movies and TV dramas recently. And at least tens of thousands of people have to shout together, which crew can be so wealthy? Yang Haochen opened his eyes in confusion, and a thought came to his mind. Yang Haochen graduated from a third-rate film and television school and later worked as a supporting role with some production teams, barely maintaining his basic needs. However, he had a dream of becoming a celebrity in his heart, so he never gave up. Damn it! What's going on here? Thousands of people are running naked. No, 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 no. Who stripped off my clothes? At that moment, when Yang Haochen saw the scene in front of him, he was stunned. Everything he saw was covered in white flowers, and tens of thousands of people gathered in the wilderness without any clothes on their bodies, almost lighting up his blind eyes. Most importantly, he found himself completely naked. Ah! But just as Yang Haochen was about to scream, he suddenly froze and stared intently into the void, his eyes wide open as if he had seen a ghost, his body as if he had been immobilized. Shocking yen. Dignified. Holy. At this moment, only one thought remained in his mind, and he immediately crashed. In the clouds, an indescribable figure of a woman appeared, and an incredibly holy and dignified temperament emanated from her body. The woman's body shone brightly, with a purple aura of 3,000 behind her. An indescribable aura of nobility emanated from all over her body, and everything in the sky and earth was somewhat overshadowed in front of her. At the feet of the woman, a golden phoenix kept dancing, and the resounding sound of phoenixes kept coming out. The sound was filled with endless auspicious energy. Below, countless birds danced in the wind, and the scene was truly beautiful. I am Nua. Today, I have made humans holy, and the way of heaven is to learn from them. At this moment, a warm yet majestic aura emanated from the void, followed by a terrifying and vast aura that enveloped the entire sky. Congratulations to the Saint Nua. May the saint's longevity be boundless. At the same time, a loud voice came from heaven and earth, echoing throughout the entire world. The human race was created for me. The coast of the East China Sea is a habitat for the human race for thousands of miles, and they cannot move without permission for 1,000 years. The next moment, the voice from the void came once again. Follow the sage's decree. Our Lady of Mercy. The crowd below also shouted again, and then the figure of the woman in the void disappeared. Nua. Made people. Became holy. Me, damn. I have traveled through time. And I have come to the wilderness. And become a member of the innate human race. It wasn't until this moment that Yang Haochen woke up and his thoughts immediately straightened out. If he couldn't figure out his own situation at this moment, he would be a bit sorry for his reputation as a senior bookworm. In his past life, Yang Haochen's only hobby was reading novels, apart from playing tricks, and all kinds of novels were not taboo, including the mainstream novels. Not good, it's really not good, isn't it the right way to open it? Surprisingly, the difficulty of opening the hell mode has already been increased. Soon, a sense of urgent crisis also rose from his heart. For the vast and desolate world, he was very clear that the human race had just been born and should be in a period of witch domination. Now, this world is dominated by witches, and the human race is simply a group of ants. No, even ants are inferior. This world can be said to be filled with crises everywhere. Although Nyuwa once said that for 1,000 years, one should not tamper with the human race, so the cultivators of all races in heaven and earth should not attack the human race. However, this does not mean that the human race is no longer in danger. Apart from the cultivators, there are also various uncivilized beasts, and they will not understand Nyuwa's meaning, so naturally they will not have any concerns. Although these wild beasts are also ants in the wilderness, they are still not something that the current human race can resist. In addition to these, there are endless difficulties and dangers waiting for the human race, such as food and disease. In short, the next waiting for the human race is definitely a history of blood and tears. Although the innate human race has exceptional talents, he is very familiar with the history of the past. The mortality rate of the innate human race is definitely over 90%, or even higher. In the end, except for a few ancestors of the human race, most of them have hiccups. No. We must find a way. As a seasoned bookworm, he was extremely familiar with the context of the times, so he quickly calmed down. Now that he has become a human race, all of this obviously cannot be changed. Since that is the case, it is obvious that what he needs to do next is to do everything possible to get rid of the difficulties of the human race. As a bookworm, I naturally have my own YY dream, which is to keep my feet clean, punch accurately, and even anger Hongjun. Of course, he also knew that these could only be imagined. For him now, these were obviously not realistic at all. What he needed to do most now was to live, not only to live on his own, but also to lead the entire human race to live. These innate human races are also his hope and reliance for the future. Forget it, thinking about these things is still too far away. The most important thing now is to find a way to fill the stomach and get some clothes. Then Yang Haochen suppressed his chaotic thoughts and murmured, especially glancing at his own body that was not hanging, feeling a wave of discomfort. Although he was very satisfied with his body, with a standard golden ratio, a face cut with knives, sword eyebrows and starry eyes, he definitely surpassed all the male gods in his past life, and the most satisfying thing for him was his strong capital. However, even so, he did not have a habit of exhibiting madness. P.S. New book opening. Begging for flowers. Please give me a reward. Help me up. Chapter 2. Heavenly Merit. The strongest Heavenly Emperor system. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the next moment, Yang Haochen glanced around and quickly fixed his gaze on an unknown plant not far away. Compared to the size of the plant that often blocks the sky and the sun, it was even somewhat dwarf, only 3 meters tall. However, his leaves were surprisingly large, much larger than the banana leaves he had seen in his previous life. Without any hesitation, he ran over and, amidst the bewildered gazes of the crowd around him, took off a few leaves and sewed himself a simple green suit with some small vines around him, barely covering the key parts of his body, except for the hat. The green hat is something that must be firmly eradicated. He doesn't want to be the ancestor of the green hat. Buzz. However, at this moment, something shocking happened to him. Suddenly, in the void, a rosy glow shone brightly. Before he could react, a golden beam of light instantly enveloped his body, with 90% of it falling on his clothes and the other 10% injected into his body. Merit. As a seasoned bookworm, he quickly understood what it was, and a look of ecstasy appeared on his face. At this moment, he felt a warm and comfortable sensation all over his body, and his whole body seemed to be undergoing a transformation. At the same time, a mysterious energy flowed through his body, spreading to his limbs and bones. A terrifying force filled his whole body. At this moment, Yang Haochen had a feeling that he could collapse a mountain with just one punch. Ding! Sufficient energy. Congratulations to the host for activating the strongest Heavenly Emperor system. Just before Yang Haochen could fully feel the changes in his body, a voice came from his mind, shattering his thoughts. Damn it! System. Nimas, I just said, other seniors who have traveled through time either have an old grandfather, and supreme treasure, or an unparalleled divine skill. How could I not have a golden finger? The legendary system is in hand. I have it in the world. Soon Haochen also regained his senses, and an endless sense of joy rose in his heart. By the way, what system was that just now? The Heavenly Emperor. The strongest Heavenly Emperor system, good, it sounds very good. By the way, the system, is it there or not? What is the use of the strongest Heavenly Emperor system? Haochen immediately asked eagerly. This is a golden finger, it is very likely to be the foundation for his future survival, and also the reliance for him to pretend to be a supernatural being in the future. The voice of the system, help the host become the strongest Heavenly Emperor, came once again. Becoming the strongest Heavenly Emperor. It sounds like you are tall. I don't know what you are capable of now. How can you become the strongest Heavenly Emperor? I am now in the midst of the flood and famine, but I have to fight 5 dregs. Since you can help me, let's start with a few gourds of 9-turn gold pills, followed by a basket of ginseng fruits, and yes, flat peaches. This is a good thing. Yes, it should be 9,000 years old, and don't fool me with 3,000 years old ones. Let's have a dozen more congenital treasures. Haochen could not help but open his mouth. No. After Haochen's voice fell, the system also popped out 2 words. No. Aren't you able to make me the strongest Heavenly Emperor? If I don't have these things, how can I play? Your system isn't a fake, is it? Haochen also looked a bit dumbfounded and said with some displeasure in his heart. This system is the only existence in all the heavens and all the realms, no one can deceive you. However, to correct it, this system is the strongest Heavenly Emperor system. It does not make the host become the strongest Heavenly Emperor at once, but helps the host. The host can be understood as an auxiliary. To become the strongest Heavenly Emperor, the subject is the host, and this system is just a better auxiliary host. Not a step to heaven, explained the system. Well. After hearing this explanation, Yang Haochen also showed a sudden expression on his face. In fact, he had already thought of this result, but couldn't help but want to why it in his heart. Okay, since that's the case, then tell me what help you can give me now and what specific functions you have. Haochen asked. Buzz. His voice had just fallen, and he felt a mysterious message in his mind. Soon, after reading this information, he finally understood the function of the strongest Heavenly Emperor system. Isn't that right? You claim to be the strongest Heavenly Emperor system, is there only one lottery function and task function? Later, Haochen asked somewhat disappointed. After refining this information, he found that the strongest Heavenly Emperor system only has one task function and one lottery function. Both of these are not difficult to understand, but his disappointment cannot be concealed. Of course not, the functions of the strongest Heavenly Emperor system are directly proportional to the host's strength. The stronger the host's strength, the more functions it can activate. Currently, the host's strength is only enough to unlock these 2 basic functions. As for other functions, the host needs to enhance their strength and perform special tasks to activate them, the system explained. I see, that's about it. After hearing this explanation, Houchen breathed a sigh of relief. At least there was still hope, and it also raised an inexplicable expectation in his heart. Release the main mission. Become the leader of the human race. The mission rewards 3 lucky draws. The voice of the system once again came out. Ha! Mission. Becoming the leader of the human race. This can happen. The human race is the foundation for my future livelihood. No, there is no punishment for failure. The script is not right, there is no punishment for mission failure. Houchen thought to himself with some surprise. If the host cannot become the leader of the human race, they will not be able to rely on the supreme luck of the human race. In the future, they will face countless difficulties on the road to the strongest heavenly emperor, and even disappear from the crowd, becoming a soy sauce party. Or they will die and disappear. After hearing this explanation, Houchen was also shocked and clearly understood the meaning of the system. The punishment for failure was not necessary because the consequences of failure were obviously much harsher than any punishment. The leader of the human race. I'm determined. Thinking of this, Houchen's eyes also showed an incredibly firm expression. P.S. The author of this book has been brainstorming for a long time. Also prepared for a long time. The author has poured a lot of effort into this book. Hope everyone can enjoy it. The new book has just opened, please collect flowers to support it. A new book of conscience. Please rest assured to enter the pit. Chapter 3. Eliminating the Wolf Pack. Task completed. Seeking collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next moment, Houchen's mind moved and a property panel that only he could see appeared in front of him. Host. Yang Houchen Race. Human Constitution. Congenital Tao Body Cultivation. Earth Immortal Skill. None Divine Power. None Secret Technique. None Magic Treasure. Acquired Merit and Spirit Treasure Bodyguard Pets. None Remaining Lottery Attempts. 0. After seeing a series of nothingness, Houchen was also speechless for a while. The only thing that comforted him psychologically was his innate Tao body constitution and the cultivation level of the Earth Immortal Realm. The cultivation level of the Earth Immortal Realm was obviously obtained from a successful Daguan body just now, which directly enabled him to complete the leap from a mortal to an immortal. Although this Earth Immortal is the lowest level immortal, not even able to ride the clouds and fog, he is still very excited for Houchen. After all, in his past life, he was just an ordinary dragon trap loser, a useless warrior with no strength to bind chickens. Now he has suddenly become a Earth Immortal, and his heart is naturally very excited. Even now, he is still just an ant in the entire vast world. As for the postnatal merit spiritual treasure, in Houchen's view, the symbolic significance of this magic treasure far outweighs its own power. After all, it was only made with the most ordinary leaves, and even if it was infused with a large amount of merit, its power was obviously very limited. Ow! At this moment, suddenly, a roar of anger came, accompanied by a series of mournful screams. Not good. After hearing this sound, Houchen's face suddenly changed. He was obviously not unfamiliar with this sound, it was the howling of a wolf. Immediately, his gaze also turned towards the direction of the sound coming from. Soon, outside the valley, a wolf rushed into the crowd. Let's call it a wolf, because although the wolf looks almost the same as what we saw in previous lives, its shape is bigger than that of a cow. Around it, more than 10 members of the human race have fallen into a pool of blood, apparently unable to live. After seeing this scene, the people around were filled with a strong fear in their eyes, and immediately fled in all directions. Outside the valley, dozens of giant wolves also rushed towards this direction. Damn it! Looking for death. After seeing this scene, Houchen's eyes instantly turned red. Although he had long thought that the wasteland world was a true world of the jungle, full of endless blood, accompanied by slaughter and death at all times, he did not expect the disaster to come so quickly. Watching more than a dozen fresh lives die in front of him, Houchen's anger instantly rose in his heart. He had been afraid and fearful before, but in the blink of an eye, he was filled with anger. You should know, these are all his own kin. In this world, his kin is only the tens of thousands in front of him, which sounds like a lot. However, compared to the vast majority of tribes, it is no different from a drop in the ocean, and these human clans are also Houchen's future reliance and hope. Now that he has lost so much, how can he not be angry? At the next moment, Houchen's legs kicked fiercely, and then his entire body shot out like an arrow from a string. In the blink of an eye, he arrived in front of the giant wolf, without even thinking about it. He punched fiercely, without any fancy, and his fist instantly hit the wolf's head. Accompanied by a mournful cry, the giant wolf's head burst open in an instant, its brain plasma burst, blood spurted wildly, and its huge body fell to the ground with a loud roar, clearly unable to survive. You should know that Houchen is also an earthly immortal. Although he has no martial arts or supernatural powers, even so, he is not comparable to a wild beast at all, and even has no comparability. This giant wolf is just an ordinary beast, not even a demon cultivator, and not even spiritual intelligence. Naturally, he has no ability to fight back. Kill. Houchen's speed did not stop. At this point, the wolf pack had already approached the human race in the valley. Moreover, Houchen's recent behavior not only did not make the wolf pack afraid, but also aroused the opponent's ferocity. He could only endure the discomfort in his heart and charged directly towards the wolf pack. There is no suspense at all, and the scene is naturally a one-sided massacre. As a cultivator in the realm of earthly immortals, the outcome of the battle is naturally without any suspense. In just one stick of incense, nearly 100 giant wolves fell into a pool of blood. Until all the giant wolves were killed, Houchen's anger subsided a lot. However, soon after seeing the bloody scene in the field, Houchen's stomach began to churn violently. All of these giant wolves had their heads smashed, and the entire ground was stained with blood. A strong smell of blood also spread, and the entire scene was like a huge slaughterhouse. Just as Houchen was about to run to the side and vomit heavily, he suddenly caught a glimpse of the gaze of a group of human beings in the valley. Feeling the gaze of these human beings, Houchen tried his best to suppress the discomfort in his heart. At this moment, everyone was looking at him with a divine gaze, and the worship in his eyes could not be concealed. Leader! 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 In the crowd, I don't know who shouted first. Gradually, the number of people grew larger and larger. Soon, the entire human race in the valley shouted loudly, their eyes filled with a strong and fiery light, like a fanatic believer. Ding! The host has gained recognition from all innate human races, become the leader of the human race, complete the main task, and have 3 chances to win a lottery. At the same time, the sound of a system prompt came to Houchen's mind. Done. After hearing this prompt, a hint of surprise flashed in Houchen's eyes. He didn't expect that by chance, he had suddenly gained recognition from all the human race. Everyone be quiet. Soon, Houchen suppressed his distractions and glanced at the human race. He spoke loudly, and in an instant the entire valley was silent. At this moment, tens of thousands of pairs of eyes in the entire valley were staring at him. Chapter 4. Crazy Invention. Cultivation soars. Seeking collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After feeling the gaze of these human beings, Houchen's whole body also shook violently, as if his soul had been impacted. He saw these human beings with clear and pure eyes, without any impurities, full of simplicity and innocence. This is the innate human race. Simple, pure, kind. Houchen thought to himself in his heart. Since you have recognized me, I will definitely not let you down. I will do my best to lead the human race through difficulties and obstacles, reverse the human race's bloody journey. Let the human race become the true protagonist of heaven and earth, co-ruling heaven and earth. Suddenly, a thought came to Houchen's heart, and the moment this thought appeared, it took root and sprouted in his heart, and then quickly spread. Everyone, first deal with these corpses. Houchen said, knowing that these are all food. The smallest of these wolves are like calves, enough to support them for a period of time, so Houchen naturally won't waste them. However, when Houchen saw some people surrounded by the corpses of the giant wolf feeling at a loss and unsure how to take action, he immediately patted his forehead and glanced at a nearby cliff. Finally, with a fierce punch, cracks appeared on the cliff, and then the gravel kept rolling down. Under Houchen's polishing, the first stone knife in human history was formed. It also marks the official entry of the human race into the Stone Age. At the moment when the stone knife was formed, another golden beam of light descended from the void. As before, 90% of it disappeared into the stone knife, and the last 10% merged into Houchen's body. However, compared to the first merit, this time it was significantly less. Although he felt that his strength had increased significantly, the cultivation level of the Earth Immortal remained on the attribute panel. Then, under the command of Houchen, a group of human beings also began to take action one after another, polishing out a bar stone knife and then starting to deal with the wolf corpse. With meat, how can there be no fire? Soon, another thought came to Houchen's mind, and he began to recall the introduction of drilling wood to make fire in his past life. At the moment when the first flame emerged, a golden beam of light once again descended from the sky over the valley, also sinking into the flames in front of Houchen in a ratio of 1.9. Boom! At the moment when the beam of light penetrated Houchen's body, he felt his entire body shake in an instant, and then a terrifying and surging aura rose from within. The strength of his entire body suddenly increased several times, as if he had undergone a complete transformation. The human race never extinguishes its flames. However, this time Houchen did not pay the first attention to his cultivation. Instead, his gaze fell on a cluster of red jumping flames in front of him. From this flame, Houchen felt an incredibly mysterious aura, and a mysterious rhythm emanated from the flames, emitting a mysterious power. Houchen knew that this flame was truly the indestructible flame of the famous human race. In addition to possessing impressive killing power, what is more important is the inheritance of the human race's fuel, which is of great significance. After the flames, the human race naturally no longer had to eat raw meat. Soon, under the command of Houchen, piles of bonfires rose in the valley, and pieces of wolf meat were also grilled on top of the bonfire. Soon, a strong smell of meat filled the entire valley, and many human races continued to swallow saliva, staring intently at the wolf meat on the shelf. While the human race was busy grilling meat, Houchen began his great invention. After experiencing his previous experiences with clothes, stone knives, and firewood, a method of restraining merit and improving strength emerged in Houchen's mind, which was undoubtedly the invention of artifacts. He also saw that as long as the things he created had a promoting effect on the civilization process of the human race, they would trigger the induction of the heavenly way, thereby reducing merit. So soon, under Houchen's instigation, the fishing net, temporarily known as the fishing net bar, was woven with vines and placed in the river in the valley, using the power of 9 oxen and 2 tigers to net a small fish. Seedling. However, in the end, the heavenly way still recognized the birth of fishing nets. Then, all kinds of pots, pans, ladles, and bowls, as well as traps, were all stirred up by Houchen. In the end, Houchen even knocked down several big trees and built a simple wooden house, and the first room of the human race appeared. After the birth of the house, the initial civilization of the human race has also been born, ending the period of wind, food, and shelter, and making initial arrangements for clothing, food, and shelter. After playing the drums for a long time, Haochen's harvest was also extremely rich, and his entire cultivation skyrocketed like riding a rocket, directly crossing the levels of Heavenly Immortal and Xianxian, and advancing to the realm of Golden Immortal. The Golden Immortal realm is in the entire wilderness. Although it may not be considered a master, it is still considered a preliminary departure from the level of ants and has barely reached the mainstream realm. Ordinary demon cultivators and ordinary members of the witch clan are mostly in the realm of Xianxian and Golden Immortal. Of course, if he encounters the demon cultivators and witches in the Golden Immortal realm, Haochen will definitely kneel down, not only the Golden Immortal, but also the Xianxian level. He may not be able to defeat them. You should know that his cultivation as a Golden Immortal is entirely built on merit. As someone familiar with the wilderness, he naturally knows very well that the magic power cultivated in this situation is the weakest, and the foundation is also the worst. Among his peers, he belongs to the bottom of the class. In addition, he has no martial arts or supernatural powers, and only one immortal firewood can stand on the table when attacking treasures, while the rest are more symbolic. So the combat effectiveness can be imagined. However, Haochen clearly had no choice but to protect himself in a short period of time. As for his magic, he had no other choice but to find opportunities to polish it well in the future. Fortunately, his efforts were not without rewards. With his cultivation in the Golden Immortal realm and the previous prophecy of Nua, he and his human race were already considered safe on this 1 acre and 3 fun land on the coast of the East China Sea. However, he didn't dare to relax in his heart at all, because there was only 1,000 years left for him. After 1,000 years, real trials and tribulations were about to come. So he must strive to strengthen himself and the human race as much as possible within 1,000 years. Chapter 5. The Gate of the World and the World Mall. Seeking Collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 1,000 years of time, although it may sound very long, in the vast world, the least valuable thing is probably time. For some great experts, 1,000 years of time is just a blink of an eye, and sometimes a seclusion can last for thousands of years or even longer. System. We can only rely on the system for hope. Haochen thought to himself, if we rely on normal circumstances for cultivation, in 1,000 years, even if his qualifications are against the sky, even if someone with Hongjun Daozu's hand preaches to him for 1,000 years, how much can he improve? So in the end, we can only rely on the strongest Heavenly Emperor system for hope. Ha! Belief point. What kind of ghost is this? Also, how did this lottery turn into 6 times? I remember it was only 3 times, right? Also, what is this bronze gate? And this ancient coin symbol? However, when Haochen's mind sank into the interface of the strongest Heavenly Emperor system, he was also stunned for a moment. At this point, his cultivation had already reached the realm of the Golden Immortal from the Earth Immortal, which he had already known before, and a series of postnatal merit spiritual treasures had also been added to his magic treasures, but their power was not very impressive. What caught his attention was that there was an additional belief category above the number of lucky draws in the attribute panel, followed by a number of over 25,000. Moreover, the number of lucky draws below had increased from 3 to 6, which was twice as many. In addition, below the attribute panel, there was originally only one lottery wheel logo. However, this time, 2 more things have been added next to the wheel logo. One of them is the logo of a quaint bronze gate, whose surface is covered with ancient and mysterious patterns, which looks very extraordinary. Next to the bronze gate logo is a circular square hole antique coin logo. Returning to the host, the belief point is the belief value obtained by the host in the current situation, which is increased after becoming the leader of the human race. As for the number of lucky draws, it is obtained after the host's cultivation breakthrough. After entering the immortal realm, every time they break through a large level, they will receive a lucky draw opportunity. The other 2 symbols are new system functions opened after the host's strength is improved. One is the Gate of the 10,000 Realms, and the other is the 10,000 Realms Mall. At this time, the sound of the system also came. Belief. Houchen quickly understood that this belief should be related to his influence among the human race, as well as the number of human races. It's not difficult to understand, just like the collection of beliefs in previous lifetimes. What is the situation with the Wanjie Gate and Wanjie Mall? Later, Houchen asked again, vaguely realizing that these two functions were probably the most important. The so-called Gate of All Realms, as the name suggests, is the gateway that connects all heavens and all realms. After the host meets certain conditions, they can enter other worlds through the Gate of All Realms. As for the World of Realms Mall, it is also very simple, that is, the host can use their faith value to consume here, as long as their faith value is sufficient, they can exchange any treasure from all heavens and all realms. The system explains. Wait, all heavens and all realms, all realms. All realms. Do you mean there are other worlds besides the wasteland world? Houchen's face also showed an extremely shocked expression. At this moment, his heart was naturally shaken. He originally thought he had traveled to the wasteland world, but he didn't expect that this was not simply a wasteland, there were actually other worlds. This is nature, and the wasteland is just one of the great worlds. The world is chaotic, with 3,000 great worlds. There are countless small worlds in the middle, and what's so strange about it? This system aims to cultivate the host into the strongest heavenly emperor. This strongest heavenly emperor is not just in the wasteland world, but also the strongest heavenly emperor who suppresses all the heavens and realms. The sound of the system also reached Houchen's ears. This. The strongest heavenly emperor in all worlds. For a moment, Houchen was also somewhat stunned, obviously shocked. Originally, in his heart, this system was already impressive, but now he realized that he still underestimated this strongest heavenly emperor system. Why can't it be opened? Just as Houchen touched the bronze gate sign, it indicated that the conditions were insufficient to open it. The opening of the Gate of 10,000 Realms requires specific conditions, please explore on your own. The system's answer also left Houchen speechless. By the way, look at what's good in the Wanjie shopping mall, and see if it's really as awesome as the system says. Houchen thought to himself, and directly opened the Wanjie shopping mall. Quickly, a huge interface appeared in front of Houchen, which was divided into 4 major sections. Cultivation, magic, supernatural powers, and miscellaneous items. Houchen's gaze first fell on the martial arts category. Hongmeng Creation Decision. 1 billion. Chaos Creation Technique 500 billion. The mysterious yellow immortal technique is worth 500 billion yuan. The complete version of 9 transformations of Xiangong. 100 billion. Jiuzhuan Tiangong is worth 10 billion yuan. Crossing the Heavenly Robbery. 10 billion. 8-9 Mysterious Skills. 5 billion. Burning Technique. 1 billion. I wipe. After seeing this series of prices, Houchen has turned over more than 10 pages in a row, except for roast, but there is still no one he can afford. When he gave up directly, he directly focused on magic weapons. Hongmeng Avenue Printing 1 billion Hongmeng Zhonghua Ding 500 billion Pangu Axe 100 billion yuan for the cultivation of Qinglian Chaos Pearl 50 billion. Creating a jade plate worth 50 billion. Chaos Clock 10 billion. Wuxia's Hong 10 billion. Swallowing the Heavenly Demon Jar 10 billion. Looking at the series of numbers, Houchen only felt dizzy in both eyes. Obviously, this magic weapon was the same as the martial arts, and Houchen could only look at it. Helpless, he had no choice but to give up. The following supernatural powers and miscellaneous items were also the same. The ones in front were extremely expensive, while the ones behind Houchen that he could afford were just too garbage. Faith, it's still too poor. If you want to exchange it in the Wanjie Mall, it seems that it won't be possible in the short term. Houchen shook his head, obviously unable to get practical help from this Wanjie mall with his financial ability for the time being. P.S. New book upload. Seeking collection. Begging for flowers. The update status of new books is tentatively set to have a minimum of 3 updates every day, with updates at 6, 12, and 18 o'clock every day. After signing the recommendation, it may explode depending on the situation. The young master is writing this book with great care. Hope everyone can enjoy it. Chapter 6. Lottery. The Temple of the Human Race and Double Dolls. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It seems that the Gate of the 10,000 Realms and the 10,000 Realms Mall are temporarily useless. Since that's the case, let's draw a lottery first. I don't know what good things can be drawn. Houchen also thought to himself secretly, reached out a little, and directly opened the lottery icon below. Suddenly, a huge turntable appeared in his sight, and above the turntable were various items, martial arts treasures, and miscellaneous items mixed together. The quality of all things is also very different. Even Houchen found a big dark yellow tripod, filled with an extremely mysterious atmosphere. It is the most precious level of existence, which is exactly the same as the mother gas tripod of all things he saw in the World Mall. However, there are also things like rusty iron knives that make people laugh and cry. Start. After taking a deep breath, Houchen spoke up directly, and suddenly the turntable began to spin rapidly. He couldn't even catch the trajectory of the pointer on it, obviously relying solely on luck. Stop. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a special building, the Human Race Temple. The Temple of the Human Race. What is this thing? After hearing the name, Houchen was also stunned for a moment, and his eyes also became somewhat puzzled. The Temple of the Human Race, as the name suggests, is the holy land of the human race, which is the foundation and source of the inheritance of the human race. The Temple of the Human Race is divided into 3 major parts. The first is the Temple of Inheritance, which contains various martial arts and supernatural powers of the human race. It can ensure the inheritance of the human race is not destroyed. The second is the Temple of the Human Race. It enshrines the ancestors and relics of the human race throughout history. The third is the Tower of the Human Race, which is the supreme holy land of practice and can change the flow of time. The system explains. When hearing the first 2, Houchen didn't have any special reaction. However, when he heard the final effect of the human holy tower, his eyes suddenly lit up. The benefits of this were obviously obvious, and it was simply a cheating tool for cultivation. What Houchen and the human race are most lacking now is naturally time, and the appearance of this human holy tower clearly brings him hope. Indeed, but now this human temple is only in its initial state, so the time ratio of this human temple is only 1.10. If you want to improve, you can either use your faith points or upgrade through tasks and other means. Is it only 10 times? It's already considered good. Houchen was disappointed after hearing this. After all, 10 times, even if Houchen practiced tirelessly inside for only 10,000 years, it wouldn't improve much. However, the feeling of disappointment in his heart quickly dissipated. In the short term, the effect was not very good, but looking at the future, this is definitely of great significance to the human race, directly narrowing the gap by 10 times. But this inheritance temple and the human sacred temple are not very useful. Houchen said. In his view, the temple of inheritance is simply a chicken rib. He has no martial arts skills himself, let alone other human races. What is the use of an empty main hall? As for the temple, in his view, it is only a place for worship, and has no practical use. The host is wrong. Every building in the Terran temple is very important. Just like the inheritance temple, as long as you put the martial arts into the inheritance temple, you will get the protection of the human spirit. According to the level of the martial arts, you will get different benefits. For the host, it is different from others, because the host is the leader of the human race. If the host puts the martial arts into it, you can exchange the corresponding belief value according to the level of the martial arts, and the more people look it up in the future, the more belief values you will get. Surprisingly, it can still be like this. After hearing the system's explanation, Houchen's eyes suddenly lit up. Obviously, he had some understanding of the system's meaning. If that was really the case, it would indeed be a good way for Houchen to earn faith points. As for the human holy temple, which enshrines the ancestors and relics of the human race, while being worshipped, it can also allow the worshipped and the owner of the relics to obtain corresponding faith values. Moreover, if the faith reaches a certain limit, it can even condense the faith body, greatly enhancing the strength of the host. The system once again spoke. I see, in that case, this human clan temple is really a wonderful thing. It seems that my character is good. Houchen clearly realized the importance of this human clan temple at this moment. This was just the initial state, so terrifying. He couldn't imagine how terrifying it would be after upgrading. In Houchen's view, in the long run, the value of this human temple is even more precious than the innate treasure for the human race. It can be said that it is the fundamental basis for the future inheritance and strength of the human race. Strike while the iron is hot. Let's see what else we can get. Houchen couldn't wait to think in his heart. Start. Stop. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a special item stunt doll. After hearing the voice, Houchen's eyes lit up again, and something popped out of his mind. He had never heard of a stunt doll, but he had heard of it quite a bit. This is equivalent to an extra life, which can help oneself avoid the calamity of death. Not bad, that's right. Under the heavenly way, you can block a deadly robbery, the system replied. Is it a deadly calamity? It's a good thing, it's really a good thing. Houchen became increasingly excited in his heart. This was actually an extra life, and as for the heavenly Tao, Houchen automatically ignored it. You should know that in this world, the most powerful Hongjun Daozu was only in the realm of Hedao, that is, the half-step heavenly Tao, and had not truly reached the realm of heavenly Tao. That is to say, no one can truly kill himself in the wilderness world. Of course, there is only one chance. However, Houchen was already satisfied long ago. These things were truly incredible, although they were only disposable items, they were truly priceless treasures. Chapter 7. Continue the lottery. Luck is bursting. Seeking collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the eye of pupil surgery. Pupil surgery. Breaking the delusional eye. It sounds very tall and upscale. Houchen's eyes lit up suddenly when he heard the system prompt. Congratulations to the host, this eye of conquerment is one of the top pupil techniques. Although it has no attack effect, it is the most advanced auxiliary pupil technique. In simple terms, it can see through the weaknesses of everything, whether it is a magical skill or an array illusion. Of course, the prerequisite is sufficient cultivation to support it. The system explained. Good thing. This is just the pupil technique of Duge Jiujian's version, searching for all the flaws. Not bad, not bad. Houchen felt like he was possessed by the lucky goddess today, and the things he drew were all top-notch. As for the system's requirement for sufficient cultivation support, he naturally understood. He didn't expect himself to see through the shortcomings of the Zhou Tian star dough formation with the cultivation of the golden immortal, which was obviously impossible. After all, cultivation is the fundamental. However, when faced with an existence of the same level or one or two levels higher than him, the effect of this eye of breaking delusions is clearly exerted. Continue. In a good mood, Houchen continued the lottery directly. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a pack of Big White Rabbit milk candy. Nima. Big White Rabbit. Milk candy. After hearing this sound, Houchen suddenly felt a bit Spartan, almost feeling like he had some hallucinations, and even pulled out this thing. Ha! Accident, it must be an accident, yes, it must be an accident. Haochen also kept hypnotizing himself in his heart, and then his gaze once again fell on the roulette wheel. Start. Stop. Congratulations to the host for obtaining one yin-yang creation pill. Another thing I haven't heard of before. System, what is this thing? What level is it? What are the effects? How much cultivation can I improve after eating it? Who is stronger and weaker than the 9 transformation golden pill? Haochen asked several questions in a series. Returning to the host, the grade of this yin-yang creation pill is much higher than that of the 9 transformations golden pill. What? More advanced than the 9 transformation golden pill. The 9 transformation golden pill is claimed to be able to make people achieve the great Luo golden immortal on the ground. Could it be that this yin-yang creation pill can achieve the quasi-saint? Haochen suddenly regained his energy and his expression became even more excited. Host, you've thought too much. This yin-yang creation pill is not meant to increase cultivation, but rather an unparalleled healing potion. As long as you don't die, any injury under the heavenly Tao can be restored. Is it okay to have a road injury as well? Naturally, the host can hear clearly, it's any injury. It's just. Hiss. Isn't this another life? Upon hearing this, Haochen was also stunned, and his face once again showed a look of ecstasy. As for the rest, it was obvious that he had automatically ignored it. I'll just say, the last time it was definitely an accident. My character is definitely outstanding, I can even get this kind of divine pill that goes against the sky. Haochen was also secretly pleased in his heart. There is only one last time. Be sure to awesome, explode again. Haochen looked at the turntable in front of him expectantly. Start. Stop. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a summoning card for the Wuxia Emperor. Me, let's go. Wuxia Emperor. Is he really Wuxia Emperor? System, what level of existence is this Wuxia Emperor? Haochen quickly asked. He vaguely remembered before that the price of Wuxia Bell was the same as Chaos Bell, which was an innate treasure level. Those who could possess the innate treasure were basically saints. The host card is at the level of the Emperor, so it only has the level of the Emperor's combat power. If it were to be changed to this world, it would be at the same level as the sage, the system replied. He is indeed a saint. It's so exciting. Now he has another trump card in his hand. It's not bad, it's a saint-level summoning card. Haochen said excitedly, although it's not at the level of the Red Dust Immortal and the Immortal King, Haochen was obviously already satisfied. By the way, this summoning card should have a time limit, right? Not bad, with a limited time of 15 minutes. A quarter of an hour. Pretty good, maybe we can turn the tide at a critical moment. After hearing the system's explanation, Haochen calculated in his heart and nodded. At this point, the 6 lottery opportunities have been completely used up. Overall, Haochen is very satisfied with the result of this lottery. No, it should be said that it was an incredible surprise. Except for the pack of big white rabbits, every other item can be considered a peerless treasure-level existence. Subsequently, Haochen's mind moved and he glanced at his attribute panel again, at which point his attribute panel also underwent significant changes. Host. Yang Haochen race. Human constitution. Congenital Tao body cultivation. Golden immortal skill. None divine power. Breaking the eye of deception. Secret technique. None magic treasures. Inheriting the immortal fire of the human race, the body protection robe of the spiritual treasure of the acquired merit, and the gemstone blade of the spiritual treasure of the acquired merit pets. None belief. 25,985 item. A human sanctuary. A double doll. 1 yin-yang creation pill. 1 summoning card for the Wuxia Emperor. A pack of big white rabbit milk candy. Remaining lottery attempts. 0. It seems that we need to find a suitable martial arts book as soon as possible, and it won't be like that if we continue like this. Although Hao-Chen has a lot of cards now, his true means of dealing with the enemy are somewhat lacking, including techniques and magical powers that he hasn't mastered, as well as decent treasures. The idea of apprenticeship was immediately extinguished by Hao-Chen. Although apprenticeship is indeed the fastest way to obtain martial arts, I have the strongest Heavenly Emperor system in my body, and my goal is to become the strongest Heavenly Emperor. Who is qualified to become my master? Even the first expert in the world, Hongjun Daozu, obviously does not have the qualification. You should know that Hao-Chen's goal is above all the heavens and realms. Forget it, let's not think about these things for now. The most important thing at hand is to settle down the human race first. This is the foundation of one's own livelihood. The cultivation method will be discussed later, but the human race cannot afford to lose it. After a long time, Hao-Chen put aside his chaotic thoughts and thought to himself, then his gaze also fell on the group of human races in the valley. Chapter 8. Migration. The Three Sages of the Human Race. Seeking Collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this moment, night had fallen and the temperature in the entire valley had suddenly dropped. The cold wind was howling incessantly, but fortunately, Hao-Chen had already brought out the flames, and piles of bonfires were spreading throughout the valley. There was no need to worry too much about frostbite and wind chill. It seems that educating the human race is about to be put on the agenda, and it's not a big deal to stay outdoors all the time. Hao-Chen thought to himself. However, before that, Hao-Chen clearly needed to find a place to settle down. Although this valley was decent, its area was too small and not suitable for human reproduction. According to the Honghuang novel, the human race was born near Qingqiu Mountain on the coast of the East China Sea. Qingqiu is also considered a good place of paradise in the Honghuang heaven and earth. However, the territory of the Qingqiu Fox clan, with the sacred edict of Nyuhua, will not be difficult for the human race. In addition, Qingqiu Mountain is millions of miles away, and the Fox clan only occupies a small area. Compared to the vast Qingqiu, the number of human races is obviously like a drop in the bucket. After thinking of this, Hao-Chen no longer hesitated. His magical power surged in his body, and auspicious clouds rose under his feet, and his body directly rose into the void. Obviously, he was preparing to find a good foothold for the human race. This technique of soaring clouds and driving mist was a means born after Hao-Chen broke through the heavenly immortals, and it could not even be called a magical power at all. It could only be considered a natural means inherent in the heavenly immortal realm. This place is good. After drifting in the void for about an hour, Hao-Chen's gaze fixed and finally fell to a nearby place below. A huge valley appeared in his sight, and deep inside the valley was a towering cliff that towered into the clouds. Above the cliff, a waterfall cascaded down like a 9-day Milky Way, with a large river running directly through the entire valley. On both sides of the valley were steep cliffs, towering with towering cliffs. The entire valley is more than 100 times the birthplace of the human race, and outside the valley lies an endless wilderness. The large river flowing eastward from the valley flows into the endless East China Sea, making it an excellent place to settle down. The most important thing is that this place is not far from the birthplace of the human race, and it is only less than 500 miles away. 500 miles, within a radius of billions of miles in the entire wasteland, can be described as being within reach. After confirming this place, Hao-Chen turned around and returned to the valley. The next morning, Hao-Chen immediately gathered the human race and prepared to start migrating towards the valley 500 miles away. It has to be said that the innate human race is more than just a little stronger than the acquired human race. Although these human races are just ordinary mortals, their physical fitness is very terrifying, and they only took 1 day to reach the 500-mile journey. Starting from today, my human race will temporarily settle here. Hao-Chen glanced at the human race looking around and said. Yes, leader. The group of people in front of him could be said to be obedient to Houchen, without any opposition at all. You three come over. After scanning around among the people of the human race, Houchen's gaze finally fixed on the 2 men and 1 woman. Both men were very robust, with rough faces, while the woman exuded a graceful temperament. Leader. The 3 of them were called over by Houchen, with some confusion in their expressions, clearly not understanding what Houchen meant. Now I will appoint you as the 3 sages of the 3 clans and assist our leader in educating the human race. I will give you the name Yu Chao to educate the human race to build a nest and protect them from the wind, sun, and rain. I will give you the name Zui to educate the human race to build clothes and cover their bodies. I will give you the name Sueren to educate the human race to drill wood and make fire. Houchen said directly, then pointed out his hand, and the 3 streams of light directly entered the minds of the 3 people. It was truly about some of the most basic knowledge. In the future, the human race is destined to continue to grow, and relying solely on Houchen is not enough. Therefore, we directly created the Houchen version of the Sueren clan, which includes the Chao clan and the Zui clan. However, due to the appearance of Houchen, they can no longer be called the 3 ancestors of the human race, but have been directly conferred the title of the 3 sages of the human race. Obey the will of the leader. After feeling the knowledge in their minds, the 3 of them immediately spoke up, respectfully bowing in front of Houchen, and their gaze towards Houchen was also filled with strong admiration. At the same time, Houchen could also feel eerie and invisible threads emerging from the 3 of them merging into his body, and then his belief values on the attribute panel began to soar. Is this the power of faith? I see. After feeling the change in his body, Houchen nodded slowly and directly entrusted the matter to 3 people. Then, Houchen found a few more people to teach him techniques such as weaving fish nets and making traps. Unexpectedly, there has not been any appearance of grains yet. The main source of food for the human race is still hunting and wild fruits, and he must strengthen their survival skills now. After finishing all of this, Houchen went straight to the deepest part of the valley alone. In front of him, a waterfall hung in the air, and below was a deep and bottomless pool. On the other side of the pool was the source of the big river, surrounded by green grass and blooming flowers. Here it is. Houchen glanced around and a satisfied expression appeared on his face. There was 1,000 acres of vacant land around the water pool, and he was preparing to temporarily place the human temple here. As he flipped his hand, a mini palace appeared in the palm of his hand, which was undoubtedly the human holy temple he had obtained. He then extended his hand and pointed, and the mini palace flew out directly. Its size also grew in the wind, quickly transforming into magnificent halls, occupying 1,000 acres of open space. At the same time, at the core of the temple, a pillar of light also rose directly from the sky. Soon, a colorful light curtain enveloped the entire temple. Above the light curtain, mysterious runes kept circulating, making it the defense barrier of the human race temple, capable of blocking all attacks under the great Luo Golden Immortal. Chapter 9. Martial Art Heavenly Stele. Keep striving for self-improvement. Seeking collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. And this is just the initial state, as the level of defense barriers will not continue to increase with the continuous upgrading of the human temple. Although this human temple is composed of 3 main buildings, it does not mean that there are only 3 buildings in the temple. On the contrary, in reality, the land area of these 3 buildings is not large. The entire human race temple is divided into 2 parts, half of which are magnificent palaces, and in the center is a magnificent main hall, which is magnificent and can be considered extremely luxurious. The so-called Imperial Palace and Golden One Hall in the past life are all weak and explosive. In front of the main hall is a huge square, with the Temple of Inheritance, the Temple of the Human Race, and the Tower of the Human Race standing on top of the square. The 3 buildings are side by side, and the central one is the most symbolic and important temple of the human race. At this time, There are a total of 5 statues in the temple of the human race. At the top is a graceful and noble figure emitting an endless holy aura, which is undoubtedly the Holy Mother of the human race, Nuwa Saint. Below Nuwa was a figure with a majestic appearance, a face as sharp as a knife, and a sword eyebrow star. A faint imperial aura emanated from this figure, and it goes without saying that this figure was naturally Houchen. Below Houchen, there were 3 slightly blurry figures, as if they had just taken shape. However, Houchen recognized at a glance that these 3 figures were the 3 sages of the human race whom he had just conferred. Due to their limited faith, the figures that appeared in the temple were not clear. With the passage of time, the power of faith continued to gather, and only then will the 3 figures be fully consolidated. On the other hand, the inheriting artifacts of the human race were also enshrined, led by a vine whip. It was the section of gourd vine that Nuwa created, which was also a famous whip for creating humans. Later, it was the immortal firewood and other artifacts created by Houchen. Next to the temple is a main hall and a pagoda. The main hall is naturally the temple of inheritance, but now it is empty and just a decoration. As for the human holy tower, there are a total of 9 floors. Now only the first floor is open, and the tower has its own space. Ding! The host has successfully placed the human race and erected a temple. Taking the first step of human civilization, we have a chance to reward a lottery. At this moment, the sound of the system prompt also came. Lottery. Upon hearing this prompt, Houchen's eyes suddenly lit up. What he was most looking forward to now was obviously this lottery, and now he had another chance out of thin air, naturally feeling extremely excited in his heart. Enter the lottery interface. With a movement of his mind, the big wheel of the lottery once again appeared in front of Houchen. Start the lottery. Stop. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the heaven and earth treasure Wudao Tianbei. The Wudao Heavenly Stele. What kind of ghost? Houchen's mind once again showed a series of question marks, and his face also showed a look of anticipation. Although he couldn't quite understand what it was, the title of a rare treasure in heaven and earth alone gave people a sense of grandeur, clearly not an ordinary thing. The Wudao Heavenly Stele, as the name suggests, is the carrier of the inheritance of Wudao, the system replied. Wudao inheritance. Do you mean there is an inheritance of martial arts on this Wudao Heavenly Monument? After hearing this, Houchen's eyes lit up suddenly. You should know that what he lacks most now is martial arts. There's no such thing. To Houchen's surprise, the system gave him an inexplicable answer. What does this mean? Houchen suddenly said with some displeasure, obviously not liking this convoluted answer. May I ask the host, what is martial arts? The system did not answer Houchen's question, but directly asked in reverse. What is martial arts? Of course. Just as Houchen was about to speak, he suddenly froze because he didn't know what to say. 18 Dragon Subduing Palms. Yi Jin Jing. Biming Divine Skill. Obviously not. In Houchen's impression all along, when it comes to martial arts, a series of well-known divine skills come to mind, but is martial arts the same? It's obvious, no. Martial arts is not a form of cultivation, nor is it a divine skill, but a way. Just like the immortal way represents immortality, the divine way pursues eternity, and the martial arts way represents a spirit, a people. Oriented and self-improvement spirit. The cultivation of martial arts is not about strong combat power and eternal ability, but about condensing the indomitable will of martial arts to strive for self-improvement. Martial arts. Spirit. Self-improvement. The sound of the system echoed in Houchen's mind like the sound of Homjong Dalu. Gradually, a bright light burst out in Houchen's eyes, becoming brighter and brighter, finally resembling the brilliant stars in the sky. Martial arts are the foundation of the human race. Soon, a thought came to Houchen's mind, and the thought became clearer and more firm. A clear realization rose in his heart, and at this moment, Houchen felt as if he was blessed to the soul. Since becoming the leader of the human race, Houchen has been under immense pressure, especially in this crisis-ridden wilderness. The pressure he bears in his heart is unimaginable. He has been racking his brains to strive for the inheritance and strength of the human race, doing everything possible to enhance its strength, hoping to change its fate, but the results have been minimal. But now the appearance of this Art Heavenly Stele suddenly made Houchen wake up as if he had been enlightened. What does the strength of the human race rely on? By martial arts? No. By magic weapon? No. By Houchen? Obviously not. Houchen's power alone is ultimately too small. But now he finally understood that the strength of the human race does not rely on various external forces and objects, but on itself, relying on the strength of the human race itself. True strength does not come from the strength of power, but from the strength of the soul and will. The strength of power is like a shiny outer garment, like a nouveau riche, but the strength of soul and will is a temperament and a belief. Only with unwavering faith and will can one truly be strong. A truly strong person must first have a strong inner heart. And the spirit of martial arts is undoubtedly the source of forging the self-improvement of the human race. P.S. Tell me about the update. 3 night shifts every day are guaranteed. Add 1 update for every 500 increase in daily collection. Reward with 1 change every 20,000 points. 5 shifts per day is the maximum limit, which means adding up to 2 shifts per day for now. Chapter 10. Martial Soul. Wanjie ticket. Seeking collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the next moment, a thought moved and a blue stone tablet appeared out of thin air on the square of the human race temple. The stone tablet was covered with ancient and mysterious patterns, as if explaining the mystery of the heaven and earth avenue. The beams of light continued to flow, emitting a breath of ancient and mysterious atmosphere. At this moment, 9 mysterious patterns appeared on the stone tablet, each with a figure on top. The most eerie thing was that at first glance, the figure appeared motionless, but upon closer inspection, it was discovered that the figure began to move. As the runes on the pattern flickered, the figures on the pattern made strange and peculiar movements, and it was precisely these strange movements, unexpectedly, Houchen felt an incredibly mysterious feeling, with every movement as if it was in sync with the Tao of heaven and earth, revealing an inexplicable rhythm. What is this thing? Houchen couldn't help but ask. This is the general outline of enlightenment that comes with the Art Heavenly Stele, which is the foundation of the Art Heavenly Stele and the root of condensing the will of the martial arts. The 9 patterns contain the ultimate principles of martial arts, and fully understanding the 9 patterns can condense the martial soul. Martial soul. Isn't it the gathering of indomitable martial will? Houchen was puzzled again. In the host's mind, what is the will of martial arts? It is a state of martial arts. Ah. Houchen didn't know what to say for a moment. The indomitable martial spirit is a spirit and belief, and the martial soul is the carrier of this spirit and belief. The stronger the martial soul, the more firm and indomitable the martial spirit will be. The host can understand the martial soul as the primordial spirit of cultivating immortals, but this primordial spirit carries the belief of indomitability and self-improvement. So there is no distinction between realms in this martial art? Houchen asked. There is indeed no realm in martial arts, but the process of condensing martial souls is divided into realms. Each level of improvement can greatly enhance the human body. Consolidating martial souls is divided into 9 steps, corresponding to the 9 realms. Quenching skin, forging bones, changing tendons, washing marrow, transforming blood, unifying, embracing pills, golden body, and martial soul. Corresponding to the 9 patterns on the martial art stele. Is that so? That's really great. After hearing this, Houchen's face also showed a hint of joy. Although he didn't get the real cultivation method for the human race, these 9 patterns are more precious than any other cultivation method, and they are also the most suitable for the human race. And at this moment, he also saw that the fundamental purpose of these 9 patterns was to strengthen the human body, gather the martial soul of the human race, and forge the supreme foundation for the strength of the human race. It should be noted that the body is the capital of revolution. Ding! The host has obtained the Art Heavenly Stele, which automatically integrates into the human clan temple. The level of the human clan temple has been increased. You have won a lottery once. At this moment, a voice came from Houchen's ear once again. Can we still do this? Houchen was also stunned for a moment, but soon his face changed to a surprised expression. Obviously, this was another unexpected surprise. He thought the human race temple only had these buildings, but he didn't expect to be able to add them. The human temple is the foundation of the human race, and any building that contributes to the inheritance of the human race can be integrated into the human temple, the system explains. I see. Houchen also understood that the previous human holy temple, inheritance temple, and human holy tower clearly had great significance for the strength and inheritance of the human race, and the martial arts heavenly monument in front of him clearly had the same effect, all of which played a crucial role for the human race. After this upgrade, the protection ability of the entire human temple has also been significantly improved, taking it to a higher level. Even experts at the level of De Luo Jin Xian cannot break the protection of the human temple now, unless it is a quasi-holy realm that can threaten the human temple. Moreover, the human holy tower has also opened the second layer, with a time ratio of 1.20, which is twice as much as the first layer. This is clearly good news for Houchen. Enter the lottery interface. With a thought, a huge turntable appeared once again in front of Houchen. Start. Stop. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a ticket to the special item, 10,000 Realms Gate, low. Level. Wanjie Gate Ticket. Can we open Wanjie Gate now? Also, what does this low. Level mean? Houchen's eyes lit up and he also said with some confusion. The host is right. The ticket to this universal gate can indeed open it and enter other worlds. As for this low. Level ticket, it refers to the time limit. The low. Level universal gate ticket can only stay in other worlds for 3 days, and after 3 days, the host will be forcibly recalled. The system explained. Only 3 days. I'm dizzy. What's enough for 3 days? Houchen suddenly said in a somewhat speechless tone. Forget it, just take 3 days, just consider it as a cross-border travel. By the way, I don't know what world this ticket will lead to. Houchen said curiously. Random. It's possible for all heavens and all realms, it depends on the host's luck, the system said. Forget it, let's do it randomly. After all, there's only 3 days left. Houchen shook his head, pondered for a moment, and finally walked straight outside. After all, the human race had just started, and he couldn't have been a hands-off shopkeeper from the beginning. Moreover, the human race is too weak now. Although he has some basic means, those things can also deal with some ordinary beasts. If he encounters a wolf pack of the same level as before, it will definitely be a huge loss for the human race. Nowadays, every member of the human race is a precious lump, and losing an innate human race, Houchen's heart will drip blood. At this moment, the entire valley was also bustling with activity, and all the human race was divided into several parts. Among them, the women were gathered by the Zui clan and taught them how to make clothes. The men were divided into 3 groups, with the largest group being deforestation and building houses in the valley. Some were using simple fishing nets to go down the river and catch fish, while others were making various hunting tools. It's also orderly. After seeing this scene, Houchen couldn't help but nod. Now the human race has barely entered the right track and taken the first step to root in the vast land. P.S. The young master of the new book period needs everyone's support. Could you please help to save it? If you have fewer words, you can keep it for now and slaughter it when it's fat. Thank you very much.